RAC Insurance, doing the right thing by you. RAC Insurance, for the better.
Today, a major breakthrough in the search for an elderly Perth man. Colin Barnett's leadership on the line, set to face disgruntled MPs this morning. And the New York bombing suspect captured after a police shootout.
This is Today Perth News. Live with Tracy Vo.
Good morning. We begin with a major development on the disappearance of an elderly man missing for 5 weeks. Police have just revealed a man's been taken into custody. Scott Cunningham is outside the missing man's home in Callista. Scott, what's the latest?
Good morning, Tracy. Well, that is what we have just heard from WA Police, that they have taken a man into custody and he's being questioned by major crime detectives this morning over the disappearance of 70-year-old Richard Andrews. We're currently at his home here in Callista at the moment.
Colin Barnett's leadership is set to go on the line in 3 hours. Disgruntled Liberal MPs are preparing to force a vote at the Liberal Party's meeting at 10 o'clock. Southwest MP Murray Cowper has told the Premier that he'll trigger the vote because the Premier had given a commitment to step aside if it was in the best interests of the party, but he has no intention of doing so. Mr Cowper said the Liberals have reached a situation where a test of leadership is unavoidable. Murray Cowper is one of 46 Liberal MPs who hold the key to Colin Barnett's political future. Oliver Peterson is at Parliament House. Ollie, months of speculation and tension, but the Premier's supporters are convinced he has the numbers if the vote does go ahead.
Tracy, this could very well be a fizzer, and the fact that the leadership may not even be tested within the Liberal Party room this morning. That is because even the Dean Nalder backers aren't convinced that they have enough support to actually be able to force the vote of the party membership to even consider to throw open the leadership.
The prime suspect in the New York bombings has been captured after a dramatic shootout with police. Peter Stefanovic has more on what led police to the man.
Well, the fact that Ahmad Rahami didn't cover his tracks very well. He's a 28-year-old who was born in Afghanistan but was raised in New Jersey. He's an American citizen. But the police found a fingerprint that he left on an unexploded device that was found a couple of days ago here in the Chelsea district of New York City. And there was a mobile phone, an old flip phone, that police were able to trace back to his father, who he lived with.
Well, as many of us here on the Today Show desk have learned, live TV can sometimes be unpredictable. Take this newsreader for the BBC who was photobombed by a giant wasp while reading the early morning news in Scotland today. It got us thinking about a similar incident right here in Australia. Who could forget when this happened to 9 News legend Peter Hitchener in Melbourne, and he still kept his cool. Ahead on Today Perth News, WA's newest Standover medalist and a driver speaks out after a bad crash caught on camera. A driver who was rammed from behind in a shocking crash southwest of Sydney has told the Today Show he thought he was going to die as he saw the vehicle speeding towards him.
This car came flying up my backside and I thought, gee, this guy's going to hit me. So that's when I thought, OK, I need to film it. So I turned the dash cam around and before you know it, he was coming up 3 or 4 times from behind, and then eventually just rammed the car off to the left.
AFL and the Swans will find out if 3 of their injured stars will be any chance of playing in Friday night's preliminary final against Adelaide in a training session tomorrow. Gary Rowan, Jared McVeigh and Kurt Tippett will all be assessed, with coach Don Longmire refusing to rule the trio out. Now to one of the sporting gestures from a triathlon in Mexico. Champion British runner Johnny Brownlee was struck down by heat stroke just metres before the finish line, but his younger brother Alistair came to the rescue, picking up the day's competitor and carried him to the finish line. With his siblings now doing fine, the hero of the day said he wished his brother wasn't such an idiot and paced himself better. Oh, brotherly love indeed. Coming up, should people who receive liver transplants be allowed to drink alcohol? But now, here's Sylvia.
All eyes on the Aussie share market this morning.